Apple's iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max have multiple significant upgrades to the cameras, display, and more. The notch has been replaced by the dynamic island. The main camera now sports a 48MP sensor, and there is now an always-on display. Apple announced the iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max during its Far Out Apple event on September 7, 2022. They were revealed alongside the iPhone 14, iPhone 14 Plus, AirPods Pro 2, Apple Watch Ultra, and Apple Watch Series 8. The iPhone lineup is more differentiated than ever, though Apple managed to keep a simple upgrade path from the bottom of the lineup to the most premium model. Upgrades in the iPhone 14 Pro models stand out as display upgrades, and camera improvements set them apart. As with the iPhone 13 generation, Apple kept features identical across device classes. So, even though there are two sizes of Pro iPhones, they have the same feature set. The only things that differentiate the two are size and battery life. Apple's usual year-over-year upgrade cycle includes minor changes to a handful of specs and maybe a single tentpole feature. However, for the iPhone 14 Pro lineup, several aspects were updated that affect everyday use. At first glance, most won't notice how the iPhone 14 Pro has changed. The device is instantly recognizable by the flat sides, curved corners, and large camera bump. The camera bump is slightly larger this generation, if only because the lenses have all been upgraded. Cases from previous models will not fit because of the bump, but also the dimensions are slightly bigger too. Apple did not include a SIM card slot in models sold in the United States. Customers will use the eSIM feature instead to access cellular providers. Button placement, speakers, Lightning port, and Face ID are all the same. The display has thinner bezels, more touchable surface area, and a small pill shape in place of the notch. 4 colors are available: deep purple, silver, gold, and space black. Dynamic island. Apple introduced Face ID with the iPhone X. It used a series of 6 sensors hidden behind a notch to perform biometric authentication. For iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max, Apple opted for a new option called the Dynamic Island. Rumors suggested Apple would use a pill and hole cutout to obscure the Face ID sensors, which ultimately did come to pass. Instead of showing these separate components in the display, Apple chose to obscure them using an interactive UI. The Dynamic Island is an interactive part of the display that shows live activities, notifications, and more while keeping the Face ID cutout covered. Like the Apple Watch before it, the iPhone 14 Pro can now take advantage of its variable refresh rate display to keep it always on. By lowering the refresh to 1 Hz, dimming the wallpaper, and using darker UI elements, the iPhone can keep information on the display at all times.